Yes, good day, class. Thank you very much once again. We are meeting at a time where revision has to be very comprehensive, where we must value our time, where we must value our success. I am just here to tell you that Metric Hub is the perfect partner. Just connect and just connect now and connect until grade 12. Share the message, give others the details that Metric Hub is there for you. Metric Hub is there doing things, simplifying education, uh, ensuring that the journey is very short, no repeats. And I want to wish you all the best in these upcoming examinations that you are going to be writing. Please note that this is economics paper 2. We are working on previous papers, which I am sure that these are going to give us revision scope. Some of us, when we are revising, we need to ensure that what is it that we can work on. So, in any case, when you are writing examinations, ensure that instructions are always read. Are always read. Read your instructions, read your instructions, read your instructions, and follow them at every given question, at every given section. Please, let's not fail because of simple things. Without wasting any time, we are just going to go straight to the paper, the instructions, like I said. Ensure that you read them every time before you start writing. And also manage your time. Manage your time, manage your time. So we have got section A, which we are going to start on question 1. It is 30 marks, given that is 30 minutes. 20 minutes, excuse. So we are here to answer these questions based on that. So without wasting any time, let's go straight to the questions that we are given here. Uh, the price of the dash price of a good indicates indicates if the good is cheaper or more expensive compared to another good. So what we are saying is that we are looking at pricing models, we are looking at pricing indicators. So the dash price of a good indicates if the good is cheaper or more expensive compared to another good. Consumer preferences or consumer buying behavior is influenced mostly because of price indexes. The price variations in markets defines how customers will buy, also which is profiled against our consumer or our market segmentation. So now what I want you to understand right now is that when we look at the comparative pricing of goods in order for us to define which one is more expensive and than the other, what we look at or what is supposed to be understood is relative price of a good indicates the relative price of a good. Relative price is the right answer, which means that when we look at the price of a good relative to other goods or relative price, we are looking at the price of a good in relation to other goods that are on the market. So we define to say that when we look at that, it can identify the price variation of a good. So now I want you to note that also refer to the channel for more details with regard to this. Uh, we are saying the the individual business within the perfect market will make a dash profit in the long run. An individual business within the perfect market will make dash profit within a long run. Long run we refer to after a long period of time of existence. So an individual business within a perfect market, it makes it always makes in a perfect market. We've been defining market structures. We have got perfect and imperfect markets. So we have got characteristics of those and also the graphical analysis of each one of them. So what we need to understand is that individual business in the perfect market, it always makes it always makes normal profit. It makes normal profit on a long run. It makes normal profit. When we look at this, we are saying there is what is called normal profit, economic profit, or a loss, and so forth. So now, what we are saying is that an individual business, when it is within the perfect market, the profit is normal on a long run because of the market, what you call, well, because of market factors. So perfect markets, they are quite, they also suffer factors, or they suffer issues which are so honest and which are so direct, so that in a long run, normal profit is always made, because there are other businesses that also compete within the market, or which also wish and fight for the same market occupant, or market share, or market segment a business is operating within. So normal profits are always made in a long run, also sustaining the business to continue surviving. When the demand for a good decrease within a the demand for a good decrease with an increase in income, it is a good is dash. The demand, how much of the good is being uh, is that customers are willing to buy. So when the demand for that good decreases, it means we have got less willingness or less preparedness of customers to buy that good. So it does that with an increase in income. The income increases with an increase in income. So now what happens is that it's the demand for a good decreases with an increase in income. So what happens is that when people start to earn more, or when consumers have got more money, there is a loss of taste, there is a loss of interest, there is a loss of preparedness to buy of a certain good, because the good looks lesser than the money that they have. So when consumers have more money, those goods that loses taste, or that loses demand, we call them inferior. Inferior meaning to say that they are of a lower class, compared to, they are of a lower class compared to that person's what, uh, compared to that person's standard of life rating. So what we are saying is that goods that loses demand when consumer income increases, we call them inferior goods. We call them inferior goods because now consumers are able to afford to buy and pay for more expensive and quality goods. So therefore, we no longer see them buying in those low class places, or business centers. So that is called inferior goods. We say superior are just the ones which are just of class. When we say superior, is the opposite of inferior, which means to say it's of high quality, it is of high price, and so forth. And then normal, it means just the way it is, to say that they are just responding uh, relatively the same as whatever the price and consumer affordability is affecting the patterns. When a product is dash, producers must decrease prices to increase revenue. When a product is dash, producers must decrease prices to increase revenue. So decreasing prices, it means that they are trying to create demand in order for them to have more sales. So the more the sales, the more the income, the more the revenue. So what we are saying is that when a product when a product is relatively elastic, it means it is relatively elastic, meaning to say that it can also be affected by changes in what? By changes by market forces. So there is a shift of taste of consumers because of what? Because of certain other factors that can affect its demand. So when a product is relatively elastic, producers must decrease prices. Relatively elastic, producers must decrease the prices to increase revenue. So it is based on the fact that low profit, but more sales. It can be less profit margins, but what? But more revenue based on what? On more returns, on based on more sales. So now the price has to be decreased in order to instill or to initiate demand. Hence, we call that inelastic, I mean, relatively elastic products, which producers must respond in that way. A dash is the price of taking control of another, is the practice of taking control of another country. Taking control of another country, that is colonialism. To colonize means to take control. Colonize, when a country is being colonized, it means it's being taken over, is being controlled. It is being controlled. Exploitation, it can just happen whereby a country can just be having its citizens being used or being employed by certain multinational or by certain big businesses, but at a lower at low salaries or at low wages. So what happens is that we define that as exploitation, which is relatively similar to capitalism, to say that these people or individuals, they tend to use people at the expense of uh or I mean they tend to manipulate people, but at the benefit of them maximizing their profits. An ideology is just a school of thought that is being proposed or that is being propounded in order to uh, uh, try to convince people to believe in in some sort of philosophy or sort of. So now we are saying that is colonization, which is colonialism, is the practice of taking control of another country. The dash monitors international trade agreements. International trade agreements are monitored by World Trade Organization. In the International Monetary Fund, it helps to ensure that countries are given relief funds whenever they are in distress. They give International Monetary Fund. It helps in terms of that, which also works with the relative or more the same as what as World Bank. So the World Trade Organization monitors international trade agreements. It is that organization that speaks on behalf of fairness in trade. It ensures that trade is being done with the international standards and also without manipulation and exploitation of another. Uh, A, a dash is a policy that strives to provide a basic quality of life for all people. A dash is a policy that strives to provide a basic quality of life for all people. Uh, Quality of life for all people is actually ensured through sustainable development. Sustainable development, it ensures that we are focusing or there is an understanding of providing quality of life for all people with also the understanding of generations that are to come. International protocols, these are also organizational or these are also uh, organizations that are established in regard to uh, look into some specific matters. We can look, for example, the environmental sustainability, the Kyoto Protocol, which was also set in Johannesburg by various countries or states in order to understand or to reduce the impact of environmental degradation. So those are worked upon through international protocols. The environmental levy on carbon dioxide emissions of new motor vehicles manufactured in South Africa. It's an international levy which is charged. I mean, the environmental levy on carbon dioxide emissions of new motor vehicle manufactured in South Africa. So there is an environmental charge which sets to ensure that carbon dioxide emissions which are done with regards to car manufacturing in South Africa, it is actually called green taxes. Green taxes looks on carbon dioxide emissions on vehicle manufacturing which are new in South Africa. Green tax green taxi is that we talk about quality standards. They are actually there to ensure that quality in terms of production is also met. We have got international standards, which we say ISO standards also, marketable permits. They are also um, mechanisms that are put in place or control systems that are put in with regards to uh, business operations. And then we want to look on matching of terms, which are in column A versus column B. Write only the letter next to the what, next to the question number. So we have got question C, first question, uh, 1.21, inflation. Inflation, in simple terms, we say that it's a perpetual increase in commodity prices at the expense of currency value. Prices of goods keep on increasing. The skyrocketing of commodity prices at the expense of the currency value. So the value of the currency does not change, but what increases is the prices. So now, what happens here is that that can be defined by what? A sustained increase in the general prices and the general price levels. Inflation is is sustained, as to say continuous, sustained, sustained increase in the general price levels, to say price of goods keep on increasing. So we call that inflation. So what we need to understand is it can be called uh, uh, rapid increase in commodity prices. We can say sustained increase in general prices of goods, which also, of course, is regulated by the government. And then short run, when you look at short run, it also looks at, we can say short run, it can be against the factors or possible answers that are given there. Question 1.2.2, short run can be can mean not all costs can be adjusted. On a short run, not all costs can be adjusted. On a short run, not all costs can be adjusted. Certain costs cannot be changed because we are operating on at a short run or within a short space of time. At a short run, not all costs can be adjusted. And then a utility, it's actually, it's actually uh, satisfaction gained from consuming goods and services. Utility, it is gained, satisfaction gained, utility, which is F, satisfaction gained from consuming goods and services. And then complementary products. Complementary products, when we look at complementary products, these are products which you should understand that are the goods that are used in conjunction with each other. We are saying, for example, we can talk about tea and sugar. We can talk about uh, we can say meat and mealie meal. We can talk about all these various types of goods that we can say that they are used, they can be used in conjunction or at the same time. When we have one, you need to have the second one in order for you to use it. So complementary products, complementary products or complementary goods. These are goods that are used in conjunction with each other. Goods that are used in conjunction with each other. That is H. Goods that are used in conjunction with each goods that are used in conjunction with each other. I just want to mark all the answers that have already been used in order to ensure that. You also need to do the same when you are in exams. You need to mark those which you have used in order for you to lessen pressure and also make it easier. Deforestation is the cutting down of trees. When we look at deforestation, it actually defines extensive cutting down of trees. cutting down of trees, which we can say uh, that can be due to mining, that can be due to housing projects, that can be due to what you call uh, farming or agriculture. So deforestation is cutting down trees to make place for housing. It is extensive cutting down of trees. When we look at it, we cannot just say cutting is not few. It's just very large pieces of land are cleared off of the vegetation in order to use the land for certain functions or purposes. And then heterogeneous means something that is different. When we say heterogeneous, we means uh, for example, we can say South Africa is a heterogeneous country, meaning to say it's a country with a variety of races of people. We have got Sutus, we have got Vendors, we have got Zulus, we have got Afrikaners, we have got all these. So what we mean to say that heterogeneous means unique. Unique, we can say heterogeneous, it can just be defined by unique products. Heterogeneous products, they are unique. Heterogeneous means unique products. And then variable cost. These are costs that changes with the level of production. As production increases, they can also increase. So variable cost, uh, we can identify activities, such kind of activities or functions that can facilitate variable cost. So we can talk about this can also be in terms of fuel. Fuel can be a variable cost because it depends on how much you have used. So if you are traveling from uh, if you are traveling from one place to another, the amount of fuel that you are going to use defines how much you can pay. So we can say that variable cost it identifies. Let me see. It can look at variable cost. We can identify. Yeah, it can be variable cost. It can be B, which means wages, electricity, and fuel. That is B. It's variable costs. These are costs which changes with the level of consumption, or I mean that changes with how much production has taken place. And then multinational corporation internet big companies which can also be found operating in multiple countries. They have got branches or head offices in a certain country, and then they have got branches somewhere elsewhere, which we can say it's a what? It's a giant company with branches in other countries. It's a multinational corporation is a giant company, a mega company which has got branches or headquarters in one country and branches being run in other countries. So a multinational company is what is A, which is giant company with branches in other countries. It is what? It is A. So I'm saying, look at this class and then you see that it is quite possible for you to maximize and get all the marks or get the answers correct by marking them as you go and trying to understand your original definition or scientific definition of a given term, and you relate to the available options such that you can be able to what? To give the best answer. We want to give one term for each of the following descriptions. You write only the term next to the question number. Uh, so demand that are only needed for what it can produce and not for its own sake. Demand that are only needed for what it can produce and not for its own sake. So what is happening is that it is needed for what it can produce. So what is happening here? It is driven demand. It is driven not for its own sake to say that it's just demand originating on its own. So what we are saying is that demand that are only needed for what it can produce. The concept is what it can produce. and rather than not its own sake. So it is called derived. It is called derived demand because derived demand because we are saying what it can produce causes it, not what it can, not its own sake. And then large businesses that usually initiate price changes in the market. These are businesses that usually initiate, that usually starts, or that usually cause, that usually initiate, they start, they promote, they start price changes. We call them price leaders. These are called what? They are called price leaders. They define prices, they set prices. It's called price. They are called price leaders. They are called price leaders. And then countries that provide new investment opportunities. Uh, Countries that provide new investment opportunities. So what we mean to say here is that these countries are available for other countries or for foreign direct investment. So what we do or what we should understand is that foreign direct investment is whereby people from other countries can go and invest into these countries. So those countries, we call them what? They are called, can be called emerging markets. This can be called emerging, emerging, meaning to say they are just starting. Emerging markets, we can say emerging markets, or they can also be called emerging economies, meaning to say just starting. Emerging, emerging economies. We can define them as emerging economies. And then the removal of trade barriers between countries. Trade barriers are used to protect these barriers, are control measures that actually prevent or limit trading amongst countries. So what we are saying is that the removal of those trade barriers, they are normally done to protect local small businesses. Barriers are put in place in order to control local small businesses. So we call that trade liberalization. It is called trade, that is called trade liberalization. It is called trade liberalization. You understand? And then movement of people from rural areas to urban areas, we call that rural urban migration, or we call that urbanization. People move from rural areas to urban areas. You call the movement of people from rural areas to urban areas. You call that rural urban migration. What does it result in? It results in urbanization. Urbanization will take place, which is a continual expansion and growth in urban functions as a result of increase in population in cities. So if cities have got population that are increasing or that is continuously going up, we end up having what? Urbanization. Gases that trap heat in the atmosphere, we call them greenhouse gases. They are called greenhouse gases. They are called greenhouse gases. They trap heat in the atmosphere. What happens is that when these gases are in the atmosphere, they end up preventing heat to transfer from the lower profile of the atmosphere to be in the upper atmosphere in order to regulate or to avoid overheating. So we end up having uh, increase in global temperatures, which is caused because of greenhouse gases. And then we are going to answer questions. check here the section B says answer any two questions. Answer any two questions. So when you are in paper 2 or when you are in section B, when you are answering section B questions, please ensure that you answer two questions. And anyway, there is no order. You should understand that always start with the best. Always, always start answering questions which you know the best. Which you know best, you start with those ones. And then that can actually cause you to give or to create a good relationship with the marker and to create a good impression. So start answering questions which you know the best. You choose the question that you can answer depending on which one are you knowing the best. So therefore, you start from there. So the first question is saying, name any four factors of production. Production in terms of production, factors of production, we have got four factors. But here the question wants you what to name two. So these factors, we have got this one, we have got capital. When we need to produce, we need to have capital. Capital is the money that we need to start a business, which is needed in order to finance business. We need to have also land. You need to have land. Land is where you are going to start, where the business is going to be built. You need a location. You need availability of land. It can be any form of business. You cannot operate it in the space, but land is it has to be available for you to be able to run a business. So land is very important. We also talk about labor. Labor, this refers to personal resources. The people who are going to work in the business, these are called, that's what we call labor. We need to have people for business to run. And then we also need to have entrepreneurship, which means the skills. Entrepreneurship skills, in order for you to have ability to, in order for you to produce, you must have the skills, you must have the knowledge, you must have the knowledge. So entrepreneurship is very important. We need to have entrepreneurship skills in order for us to produce. Entrepreneurship skills is very important in order for us to produce. So factors of production, I'm saying you just choose any two of them so that you know that you are right. And as you can see, it's 2 points or 2 marks, which is one each. Why would a business have cost when production is zero? When production is not taking place, a business can also still have cost. It can still incur cost. What causes that? Uh, what causes that is that they have to pay one because of payment payment of fixed cost. These are costs which are incurred by business irrespective of production. The firms or businesses, they still have to pay them. They can pay them no matter that there is production or not. They still have to pay these costs. We can talk about an example such as rent. Rent is gonna be a fixed cost that you need to pay it no matter that you are there or not. But as long as you are owning the premises, you have to pay it. You can say e.g., we can say rent is a good example of a fixed cost that has to be paid there. We say it can be rent, it can be also salaries. They are paid irrespective of production, whether the people can go and otherwise there is no production taking place, but they still have to pay them so that they have to okay. So We are saying because of payment for fixed costs, uh, they have to pay them. So even if production is taking place or not, they have to pay them. And then I want you to understand again, uh, NB, we have got what is called variable cost, which are paid with which are paid according to consumption. These are costs which changes according to levels of production. That is our variable cost. So these, like we said last time, they can be paid according to how much we have used. So the variable cost, we have been talking about cost of raw materials. It can be, e.g., we are saying raw materials, raw materials can be variable cost. You can say raw materials, we have got fuel, we have got electricity. I once give these things, these points above there, but our question is on payment of fixed cost. It's because payment of fixed cost has to be incurred irrespective of what is being produced. We have got this is given some cartoons that are given here, and then the question is saying uh we can see this is Coke and this is Pepsi. They are fighting. Coke and Pepsi is fighting there, and then the question which is here is saying uh the question that we have there is saying name one product brand depicted in the cartoon. What is product brand? We are saying type of product class that is given. We have got Coke here, which you can see Coca-Cola. We have got also Pepsi that we can see there. So we can say the product brand that is shown there. We have got Pepsi, or we have got Coke. We have got also Coke. We have got Pepsi and Coke. They are given in our scenario there. Uh, identify the relation between the products in the cartoon. These products that we are seeing here, they can alternatively be used. These are products that can be used in place of one another. So what we mean to say that is that when a person is going to buy a soft drink, he or she can buy Coke, or can buy Pepsi, or can buy uh, what is it, or can buy any other brand that we can think about. So these are called substitutes. They are substitutes. They are substitute products. They are substitute products. That is what you can say about these. A person can either buy Pepsi or can buy the other one. Yes, class, we continue again. Briefly describe the term monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition, we can define it as a combination of perfect and imperfect competition. Monopolistic competition is a combination of perfect and imperfect competition. One is both of them that we are saying is a combination of both. It's a combination of both perfect and imperfect competition, of both perfect and imperfect competition that is characterized by that is characterized that is characterized by many buyers and sellers, that characterized by Many buyers and sellers. So what we are saying is that both perfect and imperfect market or perfect competition exist, which is characterized by many buyers, meaning to say that there are many buyers and sellers. Firms in this market use product differentiation to attract customers. Firms in this Firms in this market they use product differentiation product differentiation. When we talk about product differentiation, we are saying products are distinguished or set different. Differentiation in order to attract customers. So firms are competing for customers. So in order for them to get more sales or more customers, they actually brand their product differently. They use packaging. They use any form of product differentiation that they can use, so that customers would see one producer or one firm's products being better than the other, hence stimulating buying behavior or stimulating consumers to buy. So it is actually a monopolistic competition which has got both perfect and imperfect. Which has got also which is a combination of perfect and imperfect markets, and then it is characterized by many buyers and sellers, where firms which are operating within the monopolistic competition use product differentiation in order to attract customers so as to make more sales. And then why would suppliers of this type of products have recommended price selling? Why would they have recommended price selling? One, we are saying this one producers can use this as a form of price standardization when a product is sold in many different outlets in a region. So price standardization can be achieved. So we are saying, why would suppliers use these types of products if who use these types of products have recommended selling price. So selling price is actually agreed or it is set. So what it means is that this can allow price standardization to promote price standardization when products are sold in many different outlets within a region. When products are sold in different outlets in a region. So what I'm saying is that suppliers who are selling these products, they actually recommend or advise for selling prices or to set prices in order to standardize selling prices of products which can be sold in different outlets. So therefore we can say, for example, we have got different branches that are operating within a region. So in order for these products to be sold at the same price, which cannot conflict or which can also not cause customers to have problems with that, it actually enables standardization or uniformity of pricing of goods uniformity of pricing of products can be achieved through price recommendations in monopolistic competition. And then this way also the producers can also inform the consumers directly of what of prices the product should be sold for. They can also recommend, producers can as well inform consumers directly of the prices the product must be sold. Producers can as well they can as well inform the customers directly. Customers can be informed directly uh, of the prices the product should be sold at, directly of commodity prices. Commodity prices can also be what can be informed to customers directly to say that customers, please note that our products are going to sell at these prices, and these prices can also be can as well be justified by producers towards the consumers, because producers are able to speak and present to consumers what exactly or what is actually causing them or promoting them to sell products at such prices. And then how do suppliers in this market segment communicate in this how do suppliers in this market segment communicate their uniqueness to consumers? So we are saying market segment, we are talking about category of market. How can they in this market segment communicate, how can they tell or inform uh, customers of their price differences, or their specific differences in terms of prices of commodities? So one, what we need to understand is that producers can use advertising to inform consumers of what of the uniqueness of their prices, of their commodity prices. One, through advertising, through advertising. I'm sure you have seen in various forms of advertising media, advertising through advertising, customers can be informed, can be informed of different and unique pricing and unique prices of products. That is one way advertising can be done, where we can see producers appealing to customers what is the selling price or what are the commodity prices of their product that they are selling. You can also talk about producers who sell products that are similar but not homogeneous. They can also they are differentiated uh, ways such as ingredients, packaging, trademarks that they can use. So in order to communicate to these customers, they can as well communicate to producer. They can also, those who sell similar but homogeneous uh, one, we are saying producers selling a product that are similar, product that are similar, uh, Producers selling products that are similar. What we mean that are similar but not homogeneous. Similar but not homogeneous. Similar but not homogeneous. We are saying they are differentiated by ingredients. They are differentiated. They are differentiated by ingredients, by packaging. It can be packaging. It can also be trademarks and trademarks. I'm sure you know trademarks. These are labels or logs that are used to identify products of a specific business. So in that case, producers communicate this to consumers. Producers have to communicate. Producers communicate. They do communicate all that to consumers. Understand? And then we can also talk about situations which are to say producers can also use their brand names, their brand name recognition and loyalty to differentiate products. They can also use brand loyalty. Producers can also use their brand names. They can use brand names. They can also use brand names, recognition, their recognition and customer loyalty. They can also use customer loyalty to differentiate products. To differentiate products. We can see, for example, e.g. in fashion, we can talk about in fashion, e.g. in fashion, you can give examples such as we can talk about brands such as Nike and Reebok. These are different. We are saying customers have got a certain loyalty. We can talk about Levi. We can talk about Gacy. We can talk about many other different brands that are out there which customers have developed loyalty to. So what we are saying is producers can use those in order to ensure that customers product that have got customer loyalty can actually be can actually be communicated to customers, and then ensure that they can as well be able to do that. We have got examples such as we have got examples like toothpaste, whitening, freshness, and bicarbonate of soda, charcoal, and bamboo are also various examples which we can give with regards to customer loyalty and so forth. These are some of the and then if a consumer is convinced that there is differentiation or a uniqueness, they will be willing to pay a higher price for whatever product that is on the market. Consumers need to be convinced. Consumers need to be uh, to believe in that product differentiation. So therefore, they can be able to pay high prices for whatever that is being sold. That is one key argument that you need also to put across. We have got this study the table below and answer questions that follows. Total cost schedule. We have got total cost schedule and identify. So what is happening is we have got quantity which is increasingly so from 0, 5, 10, 15 up to 40. It is increasing with fixed cost at 0 quantity. Fixed cost is 100 rand, and then you can see it remained 100 rand up to 40, mean to say it does not change. Variable cost, we have got 0 at 0 quantity at 5 units, 90, and then it kept on increasing with the quantities that are produced. Total cost, total cost, if you can look at this, we are saying total cost is the amount of money that we get from the addition of fixed and variable cost. We get the total cost. That is what we mean by total cost. And then average cost, as you can see, we are saying quantity produced divided by the cost divided by total cost. So it can give us average cost. Total cost over quantity divided by quantity, we can say we get what? We get the average cost. And then marginal cost, which we are seeing cost that is incurred by producing an additional unit, and a cost that a business incurs by producing any additional unit, we call that what? Marginal cost. We call that marginal cost. So now, identify the schedule in the table above. Identify the schedule in the table above. Uh, this schedule, we are saying it actually identifies total cost schedule, or it is called a cost schedule. It's actually given the total cost schedule, or we can call it a cost schedule. Identify the schedule above. It's a total cost schedule or it's a cost schedule. Total cost is total cost schedule or only total cost. And then what is the total cost of producing 35 units? What is the total cost of producing 35 units? It is given, we don't calculate, we go to 35 units. We just go to 35 units, which is 35 units is this one. And then we go under total cost, which is given here, 1,260 rand is the total cost. It is given, it is 1,260, 1,260 is the total cost that is given there. I'm saying it is just picking it from the table there. And then briefly describe the term economies of scale. I've been defining this last time and severally that when we talk about economies of scale, there are benefits and advantages that businesses start to enjoy because of increase. I mean, as it increases in its operation. So we can also identify that as uh, this can be because of bulk buying. This can be because of discounts and all these things. So we can say that falling average cost as the costs are divided by more units of what of outputs. So we can say when we look at economies of scale, these are such items such as that. So these are cost advantages that are experienced. Cost advantages are experienced by businesses as they increase in size and level of operations, in size and level of operations. We call that economies of scale. So we can have, so what we are saying or what we can see is that as output increases, we can talk about operations or output. When output increases, what we tend to have is that we tend to have at cost advantages that businesses will start to benefit. E.g., we can talk about falling average cost because we are saying the total, because the costs are divided by more units that are produced. So uh, firms can also want to produce a specific quantity of output or units that will enable it to experience decrease in cost of production. Uh, so in other words, we are saying cost of production decreases by producing, which is caused by producing a certain number of certain units or quantities. So if quantities are produced to a certain level, businesses start to increase. We are saying they start to benefit from cost of production. They start to decrease. Cost of production goes down because of that. So we are saying those are called economies of scale, cost, cost reductions, which are experienced by businesses by increase in what? In operation. And then explain the concept of long run in relation to business, in relation to cost in a business. Long run, I once also have said this, that in a long run, all factors of production becomes variable. They can be changed or adjusted. One, all factors of production, all factors of production can becomes variable. It can be adjusted or changed. They can be adjusted or changed. Variable, that is, can be, they can be changed or adjusted. They can be changed or adjusted. And then one thing that you need to know is that businesses can now expand and gain what? They can expand and gain or regain the advantages of economies of scale. They can be changed or adjusted, allowing businesses to further expand, and enjoy economies of scale. Economies of. So under long run, we are saying all factors of production, they can become variable. They can respond according to levels of production. That is to say that they can be adjusted or changed, which would allow businesses to make or business to further expand so as to enjoy large levels of economies of scale, those advantages of increase in sizes. So Explain the shape of a marginal cost curve. Explain the shape of a marginal cost curve. The shape of a marginal cost curve. Actually, a marginal cost curve is a graphical representation of the relationship between marginal cost and the quantity of output produced. It's a graphical representation, a graphical representation. It's a graphical representation of the relationship between the relationship that is between the relationship between the marginal cost and the quantity of output. Between marginal cost and output. Marginal cost and output. So it's actually illustrated through a marginal cost curve, and then which is the output produced by a firm, and usually it output produced by a firm, output produced by a firm, and usually it is U-shaped. It is usually U-shaped. It's a U-shaped graph. It is usually U-shaped. And then what does that mean? Meaning that the marginal cost decreases for lower levels of output and increases for larger output quantities. That is one thing that we know, because we said it's a cost incurred by a business by producing a certain output or an extra output. So marginal cost decreases for lower levels. Marginal cost decreases for lower levels. Marginal cost decreases for lower levels of output and increases for large output quantities. Increases for larger output quantities. What I want you to understand is that marginal cost, when we are producing at small quantities, it is actually low. However, it increases as the output increases. So therefore, as you can see from the definition, that it is a cost that a business incurs by producing an extra unit. So therefore, if that extra unit was not produced, the cost would not have been produced. So the more the business produces, the more the marginal cost increases also. So what you need to understand is that the shape of the marginal cost curve is U-shaped, indicating that marginal cost falls in the beginning due to increasing returns, and ultimately it rises due to the operation of law of decreasing returns. So this is one other economic concept which you need to understand. So we also maybe have to identify and mark it here that graph is U-shaped. It is U-shaped, indicating that indicating that marginal cost falls in the beginning. Marginal cost falls in the beginning. It falls in the beginning. What causes it to fall? It is because of increasing return in the beginning due to increasing return or increasing profits. So increasing return, it also causes the marginal cost to fall in the beginning because we are saying the returns is high. However, it ultimately rises due to the operations of law of decreasing returns and rises it rises due to the operations and rises ultimately. It rises ultimately due to the operations operation of law of decreasing return of law of decreasing return. It is actually causing that to rise. So marginal cost will start high and reduce as more units are produced. As marginal cost decreases, average cost will increase. So when marginal cost decreases, average cost will increase. We are saying marginal cost, it decreases, whereas average cost, average cost, this is average cost class. AC means average cost. Average cost increases. Average cost increases. The average cost, it also decreases at the same time. The average cost decreases, it decreases too. So one thing that I want us to understand is that average cost will continue to fall as marginal costs start increasing. It will continue to fall. Average cost will continue to fall. It will continue to fall. Average cost will continue to fall as marginal costs start increasing. As marginal costs start increasing, and then as marginal costs start will start increasing, when the marginal cost intersects the average cost at the lowest point of average cost, or where marginal cost is supposed to marginal average cost, the average cost will start increasing. We'll find an intersection. Marginal cost is equal to average cost, which is the lowest point where this can intersect. Point of intersection which I want you to understand, which is a point of intersection of the two. At the point of intersection of the two, we find out that marginal cost is equals to average cost. So that is also the average cost will start increasing thereof. Businesses will now experience diminishing marginal returns. A business will start to experience a business will start to experiencing diminishing marginal returns or profits. Experience diminishing marginal return, which we say that the marginal return, we can say that is what is profits. So that is one thing that I want you to take note of. One thing that I want you to look at as we can look at uh, the shape of marginal cost curve, that we say that it's a U-shaped graph that is indicating marginal cost falling in the beginning due to increasing returns, and increases ultimately due to operation of law of decreasing return. So that is what you mean by that. I want us to quickly look at with the aid of a graph, with the aid of a graph, explain how a firm will determine its profit maximization level. At what point can a firm define its profit maximization level? So we want to look at that. I want us to look at a point of profit maximization in a business. A point of profit maximization. I want to start by giving an explanation that actually qualifies to this. Profit maximization level for now. What I want you to understand is that at first total cost curve will be above total revenue. At first total cost, which we say TC, total cost curve. Total cost curve will be above total revenue, will be above total, it will be above total revenue, which we say TR is total revenue. It will be above total revenue, but as production increases, as production increases, as production increases, as production increases, the business achieves break-even. The business will achieve what we call break-even. I'm sure you remember break-even. Will achieve break-even, which is a point at which a business is neither profiting, a point at which a business is making neither profit or loss, but it is operating at cost recovery, money that is enough for it to continue running. So when it achieves break even, the total revenue curve will intersect the total cost curve. When the business achieves break even, what I was saying is that the total revenue Total revenue curve. Total revenue curve will intersect the total cost curve. Will intersect mean to say will join the total cost, which I said TC, total cost curve, will intersect the total cost curve. What happens there is that and the firm will make profit, enabling the firm to make profit, enabling the firm to make profit. So as economies of scale increases, profit will increase. Increase in economies of scale, increase in economies of scale results in more profits. I'm sure that you see that when costs are becoming less, profit will automatically increase. If cost results or cost decreases, profits will increase. So what we need to understand is that, however, when the marginal cost of production increases, the total cost will again intersect the total revenue curve, and total cost will will be higher than what total revenue. That is one other thing that we need to understand. When marginal cost of production, when marginal cost of production, when marginal cost of production increase, when marginal cost of production increase, the total cost will again intersect the total revenue increase. The total cost will intersect the total, it will intersect the total revenue again, so that it will intersect the total revenue curve again, and then total cost will be higher than total revenue, resulting in total cost, resulting total cost being higher than total revenue. Total cost will be higher than total revenue. Total cost will be higher than total revenue. That we can as well put it like to say total revenue is, we are saying total cost will be higher than total revenue. That we can give through our symbols to say that that's how it is there. So now a profit maximization point we can give based from the graph that we've been having there, based from our graph there, to say that we can draw some graphs here which can just illustrate to say profit or revenue cost curve. I can draw this to say that we can have our figures that we can draw to say profit and loss graph, profit and loss, profit and loss graph. So we can have our graph, which we can draw simply like this. Just imagine, you know that you have to draw it with the what? We must draw your graph with what? With a ruler. So we have got profit. We have got on our vertical axis, we have got profit or revenue or cost. This side we have got profit, we have got revenue, or we can say also, it can also be what? It can also be cost on the vertical level there. So I can put my figures to say 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 6, 7, 80. We can go up to even 1,000 somewhere there. We can just go there, and then we have got quantity. So we can have our quantity this side, which is supply or demand. We have got quantity, which is supply or demand there. So what I was saying is that based on the, we said we have got a total cost curve and a total revenue curve. So at first, we are saying at first the total cost curve is what? Is higher than total revenue, because we said that the business is not making any profit, the business is not making any income, but there are costs that needs to be paid. So we can start by saying from 100 Rand, we have got our cost, our total revenue going up, and then it can also come down at certain units, and then it goes so that we can have a slight increase. So we said this is our total cost, and don't forget we can just give the quantities going from we have got our 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can give on, keep going there. 10, 11, 12, going like that. So that is our quantities there. And then we said that the total cost will always be higher at the beginning. And then total revenue, when before we produce anything, we are not having any, we might not have any profit happening there. So it will start to increase steadily, and then it goes up, and then we keep on producing the total revenue. It will keep on increasing, and then it will go, because it keeps on going to a certain level, which we said that it can go down, and then it decreases. We have got our total revenue. So what happens is it's a matter of total cost and total revenue curves that are affecting that. So the profit maximization is the gap which we are having in between the toast, where we have got the maximum profit is where we have got the bigger gap here, to say the total cost and total revenue. This is the profit maximization region here. Profit maximization level. The profit maximization level, it is within this graph, which is within this graph. This graph we are having, this is a region of profit maximization. The green graph or the shaded region identifies the profit maximization, but where it is wider open, where we have got the arrow is showing where there is maximum profit, which is this profit maximization region, is that one where we have got our arrow, where our total revenue is far up than total cost. So that is what we can see. That is what it should be like. So when you look at these, you should be able to understand the cost implications within a business with regard to total revenue and total cost curves. So we can just go to question 3. We can just go to question 3. Okay, name in 2 multinational enterprises that are operating in South Africa. We are saying multinational, we are looking at businesses that are, or organizations that have got operations in more than one state. Their head offices are in a certain central office, but they are operating branches in other countries. So we can have examples such as BMW. We have got one BMW. We see BMW is found in many countries. We can talk about Mercedes-Benz. We can talk about Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes. We have got Mercedes-Benz. We can talk about. We can also talk about McDonald's. McDonald's is also a multinational. We can also talk about other number 4, VW. VW is also another multinational company that we have. We are saying examples of multinational enterprises that are operating in South Africa, and then explain the link between poverty and environmental degradation. Environmental degradation, we are talking, it identifies the continuous deterioration of the environment, otherwise because of human activities. So poverty, we are talking about inability to afford even basic services. So poverty is a massive threat to environment, which we are saying that when poverty is high, it is a threat to the environment. One, poverty. Poverty is a threat to the environment. Poverty is a threat to the environment. Poverty is a threat. It is a threat to the environment. Poverty is a threat to the environment. That is one key thing that we should understand. Lack causes environmental degradation. Says surviving day to day makes people less sensitive to maintaining uh, natural ecosystems. Uh, when people are suffering, when people are suffering, it makes it impossible for them to maintain the natural environment, to maintain natural ecosystems and environment. When people they don't have, they always want to destroy, they always make the environment worse. So poor people have large families, poor health services, which increase poverty and create further environmental pressure. Uh, that is one thing that we should know. Poor people, poor, poor people naturally have, poor people have large families. Poor people have large families. They have got poor health services. They also have poor health services, which at the end of the day increases poverty, increasing, increasing poverty, increasing poverty, and create environmental pressure, and further creating environmental pressure, and further create environmental pressure. We can talk about households depending on natural forestry for fuel in terms of heating and cooking, which is causing deforestation that we can find taking place in rural places or rural areas. So to survive, the marginalized communities cultivate erosion, prone use, and also clear natural forests, making the space for housing and crops, thereby exploiting our natural soils without replacing the nutrients. So we have got problems that would happen to say poor people worsen their dependence on environment, dependency on natural environment, uh, resulting resulting in problems such as resulting in massive soil erosion, massive soil erosion. We talk about deforestation, also cutting down of trees that we are talking about becomes a worse scenario in terms of environmental degradation. And then we have got arable lands that are destroyed of their soil nutrients, resulting in desertification, which is also a detriment effect towards the environment. Identify one cause of globalization from the diagram. The diagram here is just that, let's say from the diagram below, identify the cause of globalization. So we need to look at the diagram and identify what we are talking about. The globalization from the diagram below. I'm just posting it now. From the diagram below, we are saying globalization, as you can see, it is costing. Factors that are resulting in globalization are all these factors that are given here. We are saying factors causing, factors promoting globalization. These are factors that are promoting globalization. So you can list as many as you want. It's more capital mobility, the ability to move capital across borders wirelessly. We talk about the effect of technology facilitating communication and e-commerce. We talk about labor mobility, the movement of people, improved transport, or transportation, also facilitating people to go in different places. We talk about the containerization and also the aircraft, lower tariffs in terms of the control at border posts. Multinational companies operating in different countries are by nature allowed to move across countries. So what we are saying is any of the factors that are surrounding globalization promotes globalization in that respect. And then name one organization involved in the promotion of globalization. Globalization, we say the business across borders are operating wirelessly. So it is supported by one International Monetary Fund, IMF, International Monetary Fund. It is supported because through financing, the International Monetary Fund enables globalization by financing businesses. We can also talk about world. We can also talk about World Trade Organization, World Trade World Trade Organization, which we are saying that it also facilitates and ensures standardization. And then we can talk about World Bank as well, which is the last one. World Bank, World Bank is also part of the organizations that are in support of globalization. What we are saying is that all these international organizations, institutions that are enforcing and standardizing what we call international trade, or I mean globalization. So we're just gonna go to the next question. The next question that we have, let's just go to the next question. Briefly describe the term globalization. Briefly describe the term globalization. We have been so much times describing that globalization, it's a process by which people of the world are what are incorporated into what in a single world market or world society, a process by which people in the world of the world are interconnected. They are interconnected or incorporated into a single world of community, or interconnected into a single world society, into a single world society. So what we are saying is that people are operating within a single market. So now, one thing that we need also to understand is that socio-political and economic cooperation between countries are, are interconnected. They are interconnected politically. Politically, we can talk about the political link. We can talk about economically. Economically, We can also talk about we can say economically cooperated. Uh, and then we are saying this actually enables societies to operate without borders, economically cooperated and operating without borders. So now all countries are interconnected. All countries are able to do business with each other. So in that regard, there is interconnectedness of businesses and companies, and therefore that can also happen. So next question is saying, why do countries trade? We are saying reasons for trading. Countries, it means this is international. We can talk about international trade. We can say it can be international trade. So one countries can improve their standards of living by importing goods uh, and services cheaper than they locally produce in order to improve their standards, in order to improve the standard of living of their people. Their people by importing goods cheaper than by importing goods cheaper than it can be cheaper than them producing them, than locally producing them. So countries have to engage in trade in order for them to improve the standards of living of their people by getting goods at a cheaper price than if they are to produce them. So that can also enable the countries to do better and also invest and improve the standards of their people's lives by investing those monies which could have been used in production into other activities and functions that can improve the economy of those countries as a whole. We can also talk about natural resources are unevenly spread across the world. So countries will therefore export surpluses and import resources uh, and goods that they lack. So because of uneven distribution of natural resources, it is also causing uneven distribution of natural resources. People depend on natural resources for their survival. So uneven distribution of natural resources results in people having to import what they don't have and then exporting also what they have in order to sustain their economies. So uh, explain the importance of improving infrastructure on the growth in globalization. Why should we improve infrastructure? Why do we have to improve infrastructure? Explain the importance of improving infrastructure on the growth in globalization. One, we are saying efficient transport such as land, C and A are needed for globalization. We need efficient transport for transportation of these for the need of efficient transport, such as we can say A, we can say C. Remember that air transport to be very fast. Goods must be moved. We are saying goods must be moved very fast. We can even talk about the sea, the containerization, carrying bulk goods, and also land. Uh, needed for what? Are needed for fast movement of goods. Are needed for fast and bulk transportation of goods. We need those things. Plenty. The need of effective transport is needed there. And then we talk about this can also we have most important infrastructure. It actually needs to increase globalization in terms of telecommunication. So developed communication technology made countries more interconnected. Countries can become more interconnected. They can become more interconnected through telecommunication development, through telecommunication improvements. So improvements in telecommunication will also result in what? In improved globalization. So all these we can put them. We talk about the issue of cell phones. We can talk about the use of computers, internet, provide immediate links between people and businesses. All these are very important.